We actually landed an interview for the show today.
I know. Look at us moving up in the world.
Moving on up. Jinx. He can't fucking talk for the rest of the show. Dude, I fucking got your ass so good. Hey, so what do you think about this topic? Okay, Nick.
I honestly thought you would be like, Nick Cage sucks, and then just keep going.
We take Jinx very
That was
seriously
a good
here.
Jinx. You could have done this whole show.
Dude, how funny would it have been?
That would have been so
I could have committed to the bit. I will next time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Movie Knights Roundtable. I'm Dalton Burdett.
I'm Nick Iricchio.
And we are the Movie Knights.
Well, some of them.
If you're watching this because you can hear our uncensored,
Unfiltered.
thoughts and opinions about the world of movies and entertainment news, so kick back.
Relax.
And thank you for being part of the conversation. If you'd rather listen instead of watch, if you've got a bunch of on-the-go things happening, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other podcasting app of your choice. Just look up Movie Nights. And if you're listening to us from audio only, please consider going to YouTube, Movie Nights, and subscribing to us. You can catch brand new episodes of the Movie Nights Roundtable and many other great things such as short films, reactions, and reviews.
And put faces to the names.
Put faces to the names.
Actually, don't do that. Just stick to audio.
Yeah. You're not gonna like how
we're gonna lose viewers pretty quickly.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So thanks again for tuning in. And, Nicholas, I got some box office shit, because you know that's what I love talking about.
We love the box office.
Yes, we do.
We need to start adding, like, segment titles.
We do. And, like, get little animations for them.
Yeah. Like, remember iCarly? You know, it was, like, random dancing, and then they would just break out, and it starts just, like, box office, and it's just, like, a bunch of animations.
Yeah. We should have, like, random unpopular movie opinion, and I just look up at you, and I just say something whack, like, Osmosis Jones is better than Shrek. Just like we fight for 20 minutes.
Chris Rock plays a white blood cell that is in Bill Murray's body who's fighting an evil gangster while rap music plays.
Yeah.
That's what happens in Bill Murray's body on a daily basis.
I assume so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to get into the box office. Coming in at number... Go ahead.
We talked about the interview.
Yes.
We didn't say what it was or who it was.
Right.
Is that imperative?
Yeah, we should probably bring that up.
Might help, right?
So at the end of the show, which don't worry, I'll put timestamps in the description for all you fuckers who are going to skip the show. But basically, at the end of the show, we were fortunate enough to land an interview with Geoffrey Giuliano. But he was on the show Squid Game, which we reacted to here on the channel. Thank you guys, all the people who watched that. It'll be a fun little treat for you. We're going to hear about, his life, how he got into acting, and he's done all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm really excited for the interview. It's going to be fun, and you'll see it right at the end of the show. So without further ado, let's get into the box office, shall we? Coming in at number 1 was Ghostbusters Afterlife, making $44 million.
That's a solid opening.
Yeah. Coming in at number 2 was Eternals, dropping 59% from its second to its third week, making another $11 million. Coming in at number 3 was Clifford the Big Red Dog, making $8 million, dropping 51%. That's really good, even for a streaming thing also. Coming in at number 4 was King Richard, making $5 million. And coming in at number 5 was Dune, hanging in there in the box office, dropped 43% from its fourth to fifth weekend, making $3.1 million. So I wanted to pull up some official total box office numbers.
Yep.
So far, Ghostbusters Afterlife has made almost just under $60 million worldwide on a $75 million budget. So as that movie goes, it's going to make its money back.
Yeah.
Good for Ghostbusters. Eternals has made $336 million worldwide. It's okay. I'm sure they hoped it would do better, but it also didn't get a China release, much like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is, though. It's going to make some fucking money. Yep, it's made about 1.7 times its budget. You need to make about 2.5 to be really profitable. We'll see how it ends up. Let's see. Coming in. Ooh, here's one I wanted to bring up. Dune has made $367 million worldwide. They kind of hoped that would do better, but it was also the HBO Max thing, those fuckers at WB. It's made 2.2 times its budget, so that's still okay with the streaming release also. And what I wanted to bring up, No Time to Die.
It's still in there? Not
in the top, but it's still in the box office. Its total box office has been $734 million.
Holy crap.
And that worldwide.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I'm fairly certain that it is now the number one movie worldwide.
In a world where James Bond makes that, does Spider-Man break $1 billion then in a pandemic?
Maybe.
Worldwide? Yeah. That's pretty neat.
It is the highest American movie worldwide. There are two foreign language films that have made more, but I think one of them is a Chinese film. Mm-hmm. And with Chinese films in the box office, you kind of have to be, the government releases how much it's made. So, you kind of have to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, but technically it's still not. Let's look at what the number one domestic movie is so far. I'm curious about that.
What did Eternals drop in its second week?
60, I think.
That's not bad.
And usually as Spider-Man gets closer.
Yeah, it'll.
Yeah. The number one domestic movie is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings at 224. Number 2 is Venom 2.
Good.
Number 3 is Black Widow. Number 4 is F9. And number 5 is A Quiet Place 2.
Oh, wow.
So unfortunately, that will get kicked out once
Spider-Man
comes out. But
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Still, solid. All that comic book movie fatigue there in the top 4 domestic of the year.
Yep. Just a little bit.
Oh, I hate those motherfuckers. Anyway.
It's because those millennials don't want to go see The Last Duel.
Oh, my God. When you sent me that. So apparently, quick thing, Ridley Scott apparently blamed the box office performance of The Last Duel on the millennials. Although I read the whole quote. Yeah. And while he was salty, he complimented Disney, though. He was like, I was afraid they weren't going to promote it, and they did. So they didn't do anything wrong,
Yeah.
But those damn kids.
I saw people retweeting that when he said that, and people are like, someone was like, Ridley Scott could call me a fat, lazy piece of shit, and I'd still say he's the GOAT, so he can say whatever he wants.
Yeah. Dude, he's so fucking funny. He's one of the biggest savages in the world. Him and James Cameron. I want him and James Cameron to do shows together. Did he say anything
when Blade Runner was coming, 2049 was coming out?
No,
with the Alien
he was
show,
just kind of a producer. Yeah. But yeah, it was. I just remember James Cameron when they, at the end of 2019, they were interviewing a bunch of stars, and they said, "What would you do if you had Bob Iger's phone?" And they interviewed James Cameron, and they were like, "What would you do if you had Bob Iger's cell phone for a day?" And he goes, "I don't need Bob Iger's cell phone. I can call whoever the fuck I want." It's my favorite quote ever.
That's a fantastic quote.
Yes, I need him and Ridley Scott to do like a podcast together and just shit on people. Anyway, we have tons of cool movie news stories for you guys. Coming in first, this one comes from the Hollywood Reporter. You like Blade, or at least, you're gonna like Blade.
Yeah.
Did you like Da 5 Bloods that came out last year?
I didn't see it.
Are you a fan of Delroy Lindo?
I know the name.
Well, you bitch. He's going to be in the Blade movie. Yeah. The one with Mahershala Ali.
I saw his face in the thumbnail for the image, and I did recognize him from that. And I heard he was the standout of Da 5 Bloods.
He was great in that movie. He's a wonderful actor. Delroy Lindo has officially joined the Mahershala Ali Blade film. It's not saying who he's going to play, although I'm hoping he plays
Whistler.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good.
That Chris Christopherson played. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm really excited for Delroy Lindo to join Blade. Thought he was great in Da 5 Bloods. It really kind of gave him a nice resurgence into the zeitgeist a little bit, and obviously doing a Marvel movie that'll get you some attention. Attention. Coming in with our next story. Now, I mostly did this for a lot of the fans who watch the show because I've never personally watched Star Wars Rebels, at least yet. I plan on it. But
maybe some reacts.
Yeah, maybe. In an exclusive from Deadline, the Star Wars Ahsoka series has cast their live-action Sabine Wren, who is one of the characters in Rebels. And it is actress Natasha Liu Bordizzo. I said that wrong. I know I did, and I apologize. But this is what Deadline had to say. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, I can't believe I'm saying it like that, has been cast as a lead opposite Rosario Dawson in the Disney Plus limited series Star Wars Ahsoka, a spinoff from this hit series The Mandalorian, which, can you call it a spinoff of The Mandalorian? if Ahsoka existed before.
Yeah,
it's weird. I have learned, I hear, Bordizzo will be taking on the character Sabine Wren from Star Wars Rebels animated series. Reps from Lucasfilm and Bordizzo did not return email seeking comment. That means it's true.
Yep.
So, yeah, this has got to be exciting for fans of that show.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't really watched the Clone Wars. I saw the Clone Wars movie when it came out in theaters, but that was really it. I mean, I'd seen a couple episodes here and there, which I might also react to. But so I was familiar with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see her, even with my vague knowledge. But I know people who were diehard fans of that show who fucking lost their minds.
Yeah.
And I think adding Sabine is just going to be another one of those moments. Maybe they'll add an Ezra, because I hear that name all the time in relation to Rebels. So I think it's very cool, and I wanted to bring that to you guys' attention, although you probably already knew that if you're someone who watches a show like this. But what do you guys think about Sabine Wren being the character being live-action cast in the Ahsoka series? Are you excited? Let us know in the comments below. Going on to our next story. This is another one from Deadline. They got a bunch of exclusives last week.
Oh my gosh.
For no reason at all, Martin Scorsese is directing a Grateful Dead biopic.
What?
You didn't hear about this?
No.
He is directing a movie about the Grateful Dead, the band.
Okay.
And Jonah Hill is going to play Jerry Garcia. This isn't a joke.
That's also good.
It's amazing.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. This is what Deadline had to say. After stepping up as a producer on his next film, Killers of the Flower Moon, Apple has found its next Martin Scorsese project, and the subject is a band the Oscar winner knows well. Sources tell Deadline that Scorsese is on board to direct and produce a new untitled biopic of the Grateful Dead with Jonah Hill on board to play the group's frontman, Jerry Garcia.
I'm so intrigued by... I would never put Scorsese and Grateful Dead.
Me neither.
Like, I felt like if Scorsese was going to direct a biopic, Grateful Dead would not have been like something that popped into my mind.
But bam.
Yep, there it is.
Must be a fan.
Yep.
And
I could have imagined Jersey Boys, but Eastwood took that.
Yeah, but the thing that I also think is important to point out is he's sticking with Apple.
Yeah.
And, look, I know that for some reason, his films don't do well box office-wise in the past few years. And that kind of started, I first noticed it, and maybe it happened before that, but I first noticed it when Silence came out, and it made, no money.
Yeah.
And then, he couldn't get Irishman funded. He's had a bunch of problems, and Apple got him, and Apple's, they're not dumbasses over there.
Netflix did Irishman, right?
Yep. And,
Sorry,
Apple...
I keep yawning, long day.
No, you're good. Apple got him, and they were like, well, we're not going to get rid of Scorsese, so what else do you want to do, bro? Let's do this. Grateful Dead, fuck it.
And he's putting Brendan Fraser in a movie, and that's really all that matters.
That's all that matters. Martin Scorsese's been saving cinema since day fucking one.
Dude's here. Dude can do whatever the fuck he wants at this point.
Yes, yeah. And so I'm glad he's got a little relationship with Apple. You got Scorsese with Apple. You got Nolan with Universal now instead of Warner Brothers. You got Denis Villeneuve with Warner Brothers. You got Tarantino with Sony now, because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because he did do Miramax.
Yeah.
And Weinstein. But, it's now he's on to Sony. At least... Maybe he doesn't have a good... Maybe his next movie's not Sony. Mm-hmm. I'm just assuming he's sticking with Sony.
Paul Thomas Anderson doing whoever makes his movie.
Exactly. I love him. Amazing.
Is this Kyler's Mountain Dew Voltage from last week?
Yes, I haven't moved it.
Cool.
Oh my God. Are you going to drink that?
I'm thirsty.
Fuck it.
Listen to that. It still had a little...
Yeah. Had a little fizz. It still tastes good?
Not at all. It tastes like... I've never had Mountain Dew Voltage.
Yeah? It shows.
I don't like that. I'm going to periodically sip from this throughout the show.
Even though you don't like it?
Gonna finish it.
Yeah, fuck it. Anyway, moving on to our next story. This one I wanted to bring up because it's something that we talk about box office-wise. This... story is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's kind of the whole crux of the story. So, Bohemian Rhapsody's Anthony McCartan is suing the producers over profits. That guy is the one who I believe wrote the screenplay. Yes, the screenplay for the movie.
Okay.
And he's writing it because of money that is owed to him. And with the Deadline article, it goes into a little details about the deal that happened. Basically, McCartan's suit maintains he made a deal directly with King, the producer, to receive 5% of King's take, the producer's take.
Okay.
Eventually, King turned over all the deals to Fox and Disney when they merged, and McCartan maintains that the deal accounting definitions have changed and he has not been paid a cent of the back-end deal that he was promised.
Okay.
Now, that usually happens when a movie isn't successful. Like, if you take a back-end deal and the movie doesn't make any money, that's just the bet that you made and you lost. Bohemian Rhapsody made $911 million.
I didn't realize it made that much.
But here is where it gets funny. In the books, it's listed as a $51 million loss. The budget of the film was $55 million. So this lawsuit is kind of bringing up that they've been pushing money around to prevent people from getting paid. Greedy people, Nicholas.
The movie made almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they're saying it lost 50?
Yes. And everyone's like, you guys are full of shit. And that's basically what this story has exposed.
They're saying that this is a $1 billion movie budget.
Yeah.
So that guy's getting paid.
Oh, he's going to get paid. We're going to follow up on this story and make sure this guy gets paid.
You said he's getting 5%?
Of whatever the producer's cut was. And I think the producer was getting a cut of the film's back-end deal.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy's getting paid.
That guy's getting paid, yes.
They're just moving money that much?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Can you believe that?
What studio made that?
Fox. But the reason why they're getting away with it is because Fox doesn't exist anymore.
Ah.
Like, they marked it as a loss and then sold it to Disney.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's still people working for 20th Century Studios, but it's a completely different thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that funny?
That's good.
Wanted to bring that to people's attention. What do you guys think about that insane bullshit? Let us know in the comments below. This one, I don't want to take too much time on, but I just had to bring it up. Exclusive from Deadline, HBO Max is rebooting Under Siege.
The Steven Seagal franchise? Are they rebooting it with...
No. This is what the article has to say.
I can't do it.
A reboot of the 1992 hit Steven Seagal action movie Under Siege is underway at Warner Brothers, with Timo Tjahjanto directing. Sorry, I did not say that right. And Amar Aleem writing. The duo, I hear, collaborated and developed the pitch together, with the movie being planned to stream on HBO Max. Oh, there's no word yet if Seagal will reprise his role as Casey Rideback.
I hope he does.
Dude, I fucking doubt it. Seagal is fucking weird, man. Yeah. He's lost his mind. But yeah, just a quick little thing. I just wanted to let you know that they're doing a...
Reboot whatever you want. Don't touch Speed.
They will never touch me. Well, they made Speed. They made Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah, but like... Because it took place on a cruise. But...
I miss old Hollywood, man. Give me 90s, early 2000s dumb bullshit.
But like...
I want to give money to whoever... I want to give money to whoever approved Too Fast, Too Furious. That's a title. So bad.
Any of the Fast movies.
The Fate of the Furious.
F9.
You know what I love? They made Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and then Furious 7. Why don't Fast 5, Furious 6? Like, why?
Why not just Fast and the Furious 1? Fast and the Furious 2.
Or how the first one is called The Fast and the Furious, and the fourth one is called Fast and Furious. They dropped the thes.
Why not just like that, or just do a colon and just add in something?
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, blah, 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 blah.
This time it's Chicago.
This time it's F9 Hans back.
They might as well have named it
They
that.
might as well
Yeah.
showed him in every trailer.
I'm telling you, I've said it before, I say it again. Fasten your seatbelts. It's got to be the next one.
I hope.
Unless it's something better. If they can do something better, I'll take
it. You can't.
You can.
Well, in his post, he called it the Fast and the Finale, which there's no way that's the name.
That's better. I'll take that.
The Fast and the Finale?
Yes, I'll take that.
For fasten your seatbelt.
Yes. If they called it the Fast and the Finale Part 1, that's it. It's the greatest movie title ever.
I hope there's no part 2. Oh my god.
The Fast and the Finale Tokyo Drift. That's what it needs to be called.
Oh my god. I hope there's like an endgame level scene where a bunch of cars just pull off to a race. It's just like Charlie's there and in a bunch of auto drone cars.
Dude, that'd be amazing. Dude, they should really lean into it and play that theme from Endgame when the portals open and just fucking go for it.
Just a bunch of highway exits.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
Do you think they CG Paul Walker into it?
Oh yeah, at that point you have to.
They have to, right?
Or at least have his car do something to save the gang. Like, clearly his car, you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, real quick, then we'll get off this. Did they get The Rock? He never responded.
I don't know.
Do you think they can get him?
I think they can, but I genuinely don't know.
Can they afford The Rock?
Well, there's that, and just, you know.
Does The Rock like the script, which...
If he's not in it a lot, he won't do it.
No.
But that means if he says no, they're going to have to do some work.
Yeah.
So either way, it's going to be an interesting ordeal.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Before we get to Rumors of the Roundtable, I want to talk about something that kind of leans into Rumors of the Roundtable.
Yes.
They dropped a new Spider-Man trailer, Nicholas.
You're goddamn right they did.
It was so good.
It was fantastic.
And thank you for those who watched the reaction to it.
How'd that do? I didn't
Yeah,
look.
they got about 12K, 13K.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No.
Watch them again.
Okay. We officially saw all the villains.
We saw 5 villains.
We saw 6. Jay Jonah was there.
Jay Jonah was there. He's gonna... Dude, J.K. Simmons is jacked. He's ripping that shirt off and he's bare knuckle boxing someone.
I hope if Toby and Andrew are in this movie, Toby sees him and goes, like, JJ? And then he just turns around, rips his shirt off, and goes, Spider-Man!
Spider-Man!
And he just has, like, a stroke. Yeah. No, he does a line of coke and just starts fucking... No, if... We already know there's reports that it's not the Sinister Six because they're already planning on
It's a syndicate!
If JJ gets to say Sinister Six or Sinister Syndicate, Nick, if they say Sinister Syndicate,
yep.
I will get John Watts' name tattooed right over my pubes. Like, that's where that name belongs.
I mean, he's been doing the work.
He
did the Electro mask.
He did.
Well, one, he did Mysterio, like exactly.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't work. And they put him in a mocap suit, which is the funniest fucking bit.
It's so good.
He got Michael Keaton to sign a multi-picture deal. I know he didn't, but he did the Electro mask. He is directing Goblin and Doc Ock.
And Lizard and Sandman and Electro.
Sandman. I know. I have faith. John Watts is going to give me lab coat and purple pants on the Lizard.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to give us some type of purple scarf on the Goblin.
He has to.
Dude, after seeing the mask...
I'm excited for the trailer.
Dude, the trailer was awesome. No Toby and Andrew. They're playing their fucking cards. Hey, if they're not in the movie, we have nothing to be upset about. I just want to point that out there. If they're totally are. But if they're not in the movie, we did this to ourselves. That's all I'm going to say. And I think it looks great without them.
Did you see the...
But they're in it. They're so in it.
Did you see the interview with Andrew Garfield where he was answering like the web's questions?
Yeah,
and he said, "Listen, I'm done. Go see the movie and be happy or disappointed."
Yeah.
The man's just broken.
He is.
I feel like every interview he does, he just texts Kevin Feige after. He's like, "Can I?
He's like, dude, I need a raise.
Just please, come on."
Just let me say it.
Well, Toby's just like fucked off doing his own thing. He's like, "I don't know, this ain't my issue."
Yeah. He just takes selfies with fans.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't need 10 like nods to their question."
Yeah.
He's just like, even I don't have to do press.
Yeah.
I don't have to go
Sign
to the
me
premiere.
up.
Done.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me how much?
It's so funny, dude. But anyway, I wanted to bring up the trailer and how awesome it was, so you could bring up your rumor, sir.
Yes, the rumor this week, again, rumors, nothing confirmed. Sony is trucking along with their universe of Spider-Man villains, or whatever they're calling it now. It is being reported...
Sony Spider-Man universe.
Sony Spider-Man, the SSU.
Mm-hmm.
It is rumored that they are developing solo movie projects for Sandman and Rhino.
Good.
No, it is not confirmed if it is Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman from Spider-Man 3. It is unfortunately not confirmed if it is Paul Giamatti's Rhino from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hope it's both of them. One, because I think that Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman was arguably the best part of Spider-Man 3, character-wise.
Yeah.
And arguably, Paul Giamatti's Rhino was the best part of The Amazing Spider-Man. And what's interesting about that, too, is the fact that the trailer for No Way Home says that all these villains die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. Sandman didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
So is this movie going to be about how Sandman died?
Interesting, maybe.
And do they get Toby?
Oh, dude. That would be cool.
I don't
Dude,
think there's...
If you're going to get Toby, just do Spider-Man 4.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
So, and Rhino...
If they do Spider-Man 4, you think I cried during that, bitch? For those of you that can't see, it's Logan. You think I cried during Logan? Motherfucker, you have not seen me cry.
Only if they get John Malkovich Vulture. And Bruce Campbell Mysterio.
Oh my God, yes.
But...
Please.
And Rhino, okay. Eternals was a comic that had 12 issues.
Mm-hmm.
Venom happened.
Yep.
If you can get the right story going on,
do it. Why not?
I wonder if they're developing it and it's not like moving forward I'm wondering how they're going to see if like how Craven does, or if they need to get these projects going. Yes.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't shock me if like they're trying to wait and see how things go before they announce these or do these. And hey, maybe it's not true, maybe it's bullshit. I wouldn't be upset. Make all the fucking movies. Give me a Doc Ock movie. Give me a Green Goblin movie. They're making a Silver and Black movie. They're making a Spider-Woman movie or a show. One of those.
Yeah.
Madam Web.
If they work, they work. And if they don't, they don't. I mean, I've personally liked both Venoms. I know you're not a fan of the first one. I think you didn't hate the second one.
I do like the second one.
Yeah.
The second one knew it was dumb, and that's why I liked it.
So I feel like that's really dependent upon how Morbius is, because I don't know what's going on in that movie. It's a lot to unpack. And Craven would be next, right? Craven's probably filming soon.
Probably.
But I guess you can't really wait to see how Craven does, because that's still like a year and a half out, if anything.
Yeah, but they're making Craven.
Yeah, no, I know they're making Craven, but if they're waiting to see Sandman and Rhino based on that, but I guess by the time you start pitching...
Well, maybe they're not officially greenlit.
Yeah.
Like, and this is just assuming that they're real rumors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But maybe there's a pitch for them, and they're like, all right, commission a script, and we'll check it out.
I would just find it weird if they use Sandman, if their whole thing is building a...
separate universe?
A separate universe that's Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
And then using that, but also, why not just use characters also that haven't been used before?
Mm-hmm.
Like Venom. Well, Topher Grace Venom, the real Venom. But like Craven, we haven't seen live action. Morbius, we haven't seen live action. So I find it weird to just backtrack to
When are they giving us the Spot?
That's the real question. I have the first appearance of Spot.
Fuck you. When are they going to give us Chameleon?
Chameleon, Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative.
There's plenty of villains to Tombstone.
I forgot about Tombstone.
Yep. Kingpin with Spider-Man.
Yep.
There's a Hobgoblin. I would love to see Hobgoblin.
I would too, but they have to do the outfit. If they don't do the outfit, I don't want it because The outfit is literally the only differential from Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think that's why they haven't done him in a movie yet.
Well, that too, and also, I feel like they can't do him in the Marvel universe because he's Ned Leeds, who's Spider-Man.
Well, he wasn't the first Hobgoblin.
I thought he was.
Mm-mm. He was like the second or third
He's
one.
the Hobgoblin they use on the Spider-Man ride at Universal. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like. I would find it odd, but also certain characters really just lend themselves to the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Like maybe look at Shocker. Where's the Shocker movie,
dude? You want to talk about me getting fucking excited, Nicholas? If they announce that they're making a Shocker movie, I will quit my job.
Yep.
Just because that's the universe telling me good things are coming. They make a Hydra Man movie.
Done. That's another one. Why do
I'll
Sandman
sell
when
my-
you can do Hydra Man?
I'll sell my apartment.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where he's like, you show me a pay stub.
Yeah.
I'll
Dude,
quit my job right now. It's
You
like,
show me a production schedule for Shocker and Hydra Man. I'll quit my job right now and come work for you. Here's the thing. You might be thinking, Dalton. But Dalton, they did Shocker and Hydra Man. I know.
They didn't technically do Hydra Man.
But they said Morris
They
Bench.
did say his name, but then it's drones.
Yeah.
But Morris Bench exists. Bless you, in the MCU. Yes. Oh. Scorpion's still out there.
Oh, shit, you're right.
And Prowler.
And Prowler. Oh.
That's all I got on that.
But listen, I don't hate the MCU for doing my two main villains dirty. Fuck, I'm gonna sneeze again. I don't blame them for doing my boys dirty. Because I got my boys. And I haven't had them before.
I just wish Hydra Man spoke and said you're
Taking a dive. Oh.
Shocker deserved better, but when you look at the role they gave him in, you're like,
he fit the story perfect.
I get it, yeah.
I hope once in my lifetime I see the Shocker suit.
Yeah. I'm
God damn it.
Bless you. I am genuinely shocked with how the MCU has been interpreting costumes to be very comic book accurate. How they
very
in a sense. I mean,
they sit in a room and they say, "What can we do for the fans that makes sense?"
Exactly. Like Mysterio looked good. They gave Electro a version of that in the trailer that we saw, right? But it's like I'm shocked that they didn't do Shocker.
Yeah.
Like, even as the henchman, but, like, he sends him to the school. Like, it's just as simple as Vulture saying a line like, hide your face.
Yeah.
Like, making some kind, he's like, yeah. So,
what would have been dope is if Peter, when he lost the Stark suit and had to put on the homemade one, if he fell into, like, something of paint and it was yellow and, like, had the streaks, and then when he's fighting Shocker and the cops come in, they're like, freeze, and Shocker, like, quickly puts it on.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
That's like it's, yeah. Like I'm genuinely, I'm curious why they didn't do that unless they're saving that for later. But they did the rest of the outfit.
They did.
Like it had the yellow padding, the orange, but they just didn't do the mask.
Yeah. I'm gonna hijack your thing a little bit here.
Yes, absolutely.
When we get the X-Men, inevitably, are they doing
Yellow
the Wolverine
suits.
Costumes, the Wolverine suit, even for a gag? Because remember, they did. Oh, well, it wasn't Marvel Studios, but the Luke Cage gag was good.
I think they'll do it for a gag.
Which means it's possible we'll get a Funko of it.
I think we'll get a gag. I don't think it would be anything. I could see them giving them all the yellow suits, like the general whatever. But Wolverine just, it'd be cool. They might. It really depends on what tone they're gonna go for with the character.
And it doesn't have to be bright yellow.
Yeah.
You know, like it can be like a dark with mostly black and blue.
I feel like that's really dependent upon the tone of the movies that they're gonna go for. But I could see for a gag them like
we'll see
doing it.
Maybe.
Perchance.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for bringing that rumor.
Of course.
And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've probably been waiting for, here is our exclusive interview. Can we call it an exclusive interview? It's not, right? I don't know what that means, exclusive interview.
It's exclusive to us.
It's exclusive to us. Here is our exclusive interview with Geoffrey Giuliano of Squid Game. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to be here with Mr. Geoffrey Giuliano. This is a man who's a jack of all trades. He's been an author. He has started his own audiobook company. And of course, you probably mostly know him as from his role on the worldwide phenomenon of Squid Game, which we'll obviously get into at some point. Mr. Giuliano, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity very much. I love doing these things.
Awesome, awesome. So to start off, really easy, just, tell us the Geoffrey Giuliano story. What in life got you to the point where you're sitting down there talking to us?
Well, I was always aware that I wanted to be an actor from a very early age of 5 or 6, maybe something like that. And when I was 12, I got involved with community theater, which is a sort of phenomena they don't have too much anymore. It was a great experience. I learned a lot there, and it confirmed the idea that I wanted to be an actor. I then went to community college as an theater student, and graduated. Then I went and got a master's degree. I did dinner theater. I did Shakespeare in the Park. I did children's theater. I did all the things that I don't think people really do too much anymore. This has benefited me a great deal because I now have a kind of bag of tricks that I can rely upon in pretty much any situation to create a character on the spot. Which is what you have to do when you do an audition. So I'm good at cold readings of a script. I'm good at ad-libbing or creating something from thin air. And these are the things that have allowed me to be successful with directors. So generally speaking, in the casting process, if one has to go through all these gatekeepers, of which there are always many, if you can somehow jump over that and get to the director, I pretty much always get the part. Not always, and if I don't get the part, it's my fault. Something that I later thought, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. So directors like me, and they cast me. Now, the reason I'm sitting here today, and I'm an integral part of the Squid Game phenomena, is that I made a movie in Korea called Peninsula Train to Busan, which you can see on Netflix now. I had a good part in there. It was the role was largely improvisational, which is how I like to work. I'm less effective when I'm constrained and locked into the exact words of the script, as I was with Squid Game. The director saw me in Peninsula. In the meantime, I came back to Bangkok and made a movie called Kate with Woody Harrelson. And I was invited to cast for this. So I cast, they said yes. Then there was some negotiation, probably about money between my agents and managers. And then they said, okay, well, it didn't, no, sorry, it's not, okay. I said, fine. Because, you cannot invest yourself emotionally and get hurt or feel rejected, or you'll just jump off a building, as I've seen actors do. So I just if I get a part, that's great. If I don't get a part, also great. So I just said, fine. But 2 weeks later, they called back and said, okay, you have the part, made the arrangements. And then I went to Korea and did the role. I know you're going to ask me if I had any idea it was going to be successful. And the answer is nobody did. Nobody had, not the director, not Netflix, and I can give you proof of that. The director didn't get much money. And regardless what they say in the press, the actors didn't get much money either. Now, they got more money than you do, probably, for doing what you do. I mean, they got money commensurate to their having a good part in a Netflix TV series in Korea, which is considered the hinterland, of show business. So no one thought it was going to be that. The director has made statements in the media that, I don't have much money. Yeah, well, he's going to get a lot of, didn't get much for the first show, but I guarantee you when he negotiates the contract for the second show, unless, which is the probability that he already negotiated for the second show in the first contract. But even so, with all that success, the lawyers will come in and they'll renegotiate stuff. That's the way it always is. But not to digress and wander into the weeds about finances, I didn't read the whole script. that now they do this for security reasons because they don't want the script floating around, and somehow gets on the internet. So they just give you the piece of the script that you're responsible for. So when I got on that set, I had no idea what this was about. I saw those guys in the pink suits with the helmet on, and I thought, oh, okay, and nothing, just extras. I wasn't too much I could think or say about it. I didn't know what it was all about. I went in and I spent the time that I spent there, a couple of weeks doing my part, and then I went home. And so it only when I got here did I understand, and it broke. But there's a funny story about that. About a week before it broke, I was in my son's bedroom and just sort of seeing he was okay before I went to bed. And his foot was hanging off the bed, and I put his foot and I put the blanket over, and there was a big moonbeam coming in the room. And I just kind of looked at that moonbeam and I said out loud, well, Jeff, dude, you tried, you're well over 60 years old. You did everything people told you had to do your whole life. You made 28 movies, but at the end of the day, you didn't make it. It doesn't really add up to too much of anything, but you tried, and that's it. And you're not going to be any kind of big actor. 2 weeks later, or a week later, a few days later, whatever it was, Squid Game came, and Newsweek put out a headline, Geoffrey Giuliano becomes global star, which is a ridiculous, it's hyperbolic thing to say. I'm not a global star, certainly. But anyway, Newsweek is a big deal for my generation in America, like Time Magazine. And so for Newsweek to have a big picture of me that says Geoffrey Giuliano was a global star, kind of have to believe them. So that's kind of the road that took me from total obscurity, not total obscurity, because I wrote 32 books from 1984 to 2006, from which I cumulatively grossed $9 million. So, I was a well-known guy, respected, but not in acting. So I made 20, when I became, in 2006, I made my first movie. Although I had a master's degree in acting, I put it aside to be a writer. So then I simply, nobody noticed those 28 movies until Squid Game. Now, when I say nobody noticed, I mean the public. The public had no idea who I was. But in Hollywood, they know very well who I am, and they continue to give me parts. So I was known in the industry, completely unknown to the public.
Wow, that is awesome to hear. Speaking of, you saying nobody saw those 28 movies until after Squid Game, I think that's just one of the backhanded compliments that can happen in the film industry, is when you create something and you put it out there, it's immortalized on film forever. And it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to get discovered right away. You have things like Squid Game, which are become overnight worldwide phenomenons. Then you have other things that you make that, someone comes up to you and says, oh, I loved you in X. And you're like, really? Like, no one cared about it when it came out. Have you ever had a situation where
every day?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it in those terms, and you're absolutely right. Now people are saying, oh, I loved you in Scorpion King 3. I loved you in Peninsula. I loved you in Mechanic Resurrection with Tommy Lee Jones and Jason Statham. But it's been a very heartbreaking and difficult road for me. I starred in 3 movies that were never released for legal reasons that had nothing to do with me, And I thought, all right, it's going to happen now. I'm starring it. I went to Cambodia. I played a CIA agent on the run, and from the CIA, who opened a brothel. It's a really good movie. You can see on YouTube a clip from it called Why Do Lonely Men Come to Southeast Asia on the Geoffrey Giuliano channel. It's there. So I just have a few clips from these movies. But I've had, I've had luck, and it's a pendulum. It swings this way and it swings back the other way. But I know I've been alive long enough to tell everybody that's younger, if they don't already know it, things can either go right or they can either go wrong. They go wrong a lot more than they go right. And when you put yourself up to try to be, look, I'm not trying to be like the manager of a bookstore. I'm trying to be a movie star here. That's a tall order. That's a big bite out of life, That's a lot of people want to fill that position, and there's only very few. So I can't even say I've been lucky. The pendulum swung back the other way, and I'm sitting here trying to take full advantage of it so that I can move my art, because ultimately, end of the day, that's what it is, an art form. There's all this meat marketing and bullshit around it, but it's some internal process that the actor goes through where he tries to become or comes very close to becoming somebody else. It's a kind of an insane thing, a process that you do, but it is not easy, apparently. It's easy for me because I can do it, but I guess other people, it's very difficult. I don't know if it's like being in Cirque du Soleil or playing the violin. Those things seem very difficult to me because I can't do them. But the thing that becoming another person, speaking another accent, taking on other mannerisms is something I can do. But there's so much that gets in the way between me doing the thing that I have trained my whole life to do and doing it, that it's rather disheartening.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to something you said about your acting style of you prefer being very improvisational. I was just going to follow up and ask, do you have any people that when you were, training to be an actor who worked did a lot of improv that you kind of looked up to and said, I kind of want to follow that same vein? Because I know a lot of
my acting heroes are Dennis Hopper. And obviously everybody in The Godfather. There's a particular actor who played Frank Pantangeles in Godfather 2, Frankie Five Angels. He was actually the head of theater at Yale University, but he played this kind of, hey, Michael, I played a kind of hoodlum, which is not difficult to do. I do that all the time because of my Sicilian background and the way I look and stuff. I played mafia people mostly in all the movies. I've played some pirates and some Vikings, but generally speaking, I'll play that mafia part, and it's a no-brainer for me. Improvisation is the soul of acting. I consider the script the skeletal structure upon which the artist hangs his own interpretation. Now, a lot of directors like Quentin Tarantino don't go for that at all. We're paying you, which is true. We've hired you. You're an employee, and you're gonna. And I want you to say every word that's on that script. If you work with a writer director, you're never going to get an inch of interpretation, because scripts are not written; they are bled. So some guy is sitting in a crappy room. He already said he sold his computer for $600 so he could continue to live while he wrote Squid Game. Some guy's living in some shitty room, and he's writing this thing that he thinks probably no one will ever read, and he suffers, and his wife leaves, and he can't pay the bills, and the credit card bills. So it's such a painful process that if you finally get it together to be, be directing a movie that you wrote with Netflix or a series, you don't want some goofy guy coming in off the street changing your shit. I completely understand that. However, there has to be some trust in the fact that we're professionals. I'm not just some college kid. I know how to do this. So it's such an interesting example to me. I made 2 Korean movies. Peninsula, they had a script, and I just freestyled on that script. And I'm very proud of the performance. Anybody can see it. It's at geoffreygiuliano.com. Just go to cinema and you can see all my movies and press it. I was able to freestyle. It worked out great. Nobody said a word. I made up about 35% of the dialogue, or I added to it, probably more would be more accurate. And it was great. It's more difficult to me and doesn't ring. You can get closer to the truth of a character through adding something of your own rather than just at what I call being a tape recorder. I'll tell you something that happened on the set of Squid Game. I was doing a I was doing some lines, and they stopped me because I forgot to use the word and. I used some other conjunction. And I went, okay, sorry. Now, it's not just stopping. 300 fucking people have to stop. It's a big deal to stop when you're doing a big Netflix movie on a huge set with cranes and, you know. So finally, after the third time, I said, what difference does it make? And everybody was quiet. They looked at the floor. Because it doesn't make any difference if I didn't say and. It just doesn't make any difference. And then they said, the girl said, a kind of a snotty girl said, well, it's not what's in the script, but the director says it's okay. Well, fuck you. You know? I mean, just get a tape recorder, pay a tape recorder, put a robe and a mask on a tape recorder and let it repeat all the lines. Look, there's an old joke. How do you make an actor complain? Give him a job. I'm not complaining. It's great to be some kind of movie star. It's terrific. You know, it's what I've worked for my whole life. So I'm just trying to be real with people. You know, I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. I love Netflix. I love Squid Game. I've made 3 movies with Netflix. I hope I do 100 more. But I think it's important to trust the actor that you've hired to bring something to the table. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And, you know, obviously, you know, with our background, we've made micro-budget short films. And even on that extremely small level, you know, if I didn't trust people coming onto the set to at least bring some spice, because sometimes it's hard for filmmakers, especially on bigger scales that you've worked on, to admit that maybe, just maybe, they don't have the best idea in the room. And you always want to give people the ability, especially professionals, to bring something new to the table, because it can only make it better. Because with film,
oh no, fuck it up. Also, they can. Oh, it's not a slam dunk. It's automatically better. If Jimi Hendrix is given some music, and Eric Clapton is given some music, do you think they'll play that "Mary Had a Little Lamb" the same way? They will not. They will interpret. They will put their own spin. They will put their life experience, their talent, all goes into that. Now, that's not to say that I portrayed this VIP4 exactly. I still had a little room. I had a little room. Like there's a thing where I do the guy, come here, you know, I call him over like that. That wasn't in the script. And when I call the guy over, hey, you know, that also wasn't in the script. So there was some latitude there. And again, I'm not in any way complaining. This is a kind of something I'd say in front of the director if we had a roundtable discussion. If you're going to hire an actor and you're going to pay him a lot of money, which they did, use him. Let him bring, but sometimes it's not convenient. Now, one of the things that a director could say to this as a counter argument is, hey, Mr. Giuliano, you didn't read the whole script. You don't know what's coming next, what's gone before. How can you comment or contribute that much in it meaningfully if you don't know what the hell's going on? And that's absolutely correct. So I'm not talking about big, huge leaps. In fact, we should stop talking about this. I've gone to something else. I'm just talking about little flavors, little, you know, hitting the note ding instead of ding, you know, just little tiny, small little things that bring the character to life for me. All right, let's talk about something else.
all right, yeah, let's talk about some of your career as a writer. You know, you have a bunch of, you know, luxurious, amazing things that you've done. And, you know, a lot of our main audience would only know you from Squid Game. So, you know, inform us on some of your adventures in writing.
Okay, well, I never had a writing class. And I was after I got my master's degree, I was hired to be Ronald McDonald on those stupid TV commercials. And of course, I didn't want to do that, but I had 2 children and I didn't have a job and it paid a lot of money. So I did it. But that contract ended. I was living in Toronto at the time and I didn't know what to do. I had nothing. So I called a publisher and said, I know a lot about the Beatles. Would you like a Beatle book? And they said, that's really weird. We're just sitting here talking about, we need a Beatles book. And that became a huge international smash in 1984, I believe, might have been 86. And then people just kept giving me money for 20 years. So I sat in a big mansion writing books, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't what I was put on this earth to do. I did it. It was very successful. But after 20 years, I said, no, man, I'm like 50, whatever I was, 50 something. I said, I got no more. Can't do this anymore. I need to do the thing that I want to do, which is in my heart, which is act. And so I've been making movies ever since.
Awesome. With you, doing your passion, acting, and yes, you have a master's degree in acting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's a meaningless piece of paper, but go ahead.
So I was a communications major, so.
Yeah. No.
Well, when I went to college, there was like you go in the gymnasium and it says math department, science department, theater, this department, that department. And I saw that there was all these kind of goofy guys standing around the other departments, but in the theater department, there were some good looking girls. So I thought, well, that's where I'm going to go there and be an actor.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius. With, you living your passion, being an actor, was there anything from past things, whether it be writing or any other jobs or life experiences that you had other than what you learned in school that you think really helped contribute to bring your characters and how, your acting style to life? Do you pull from other life experiences with what you do now?
Everything that happened to me. And I have lived a very, atypical life. I've lived all over the world. I'm speaking to you now from Bangkok. I've spent a lot of time in India. I've been involved with the Indian religions. I've traveled widely all through the world. My political and social views are to the left. And I'm very interested in us using this short period of time that we're all alive to try to affect some kind of positive influence. I don't put any stock in the fact that I issued from a vagina in 1953 in a particular geographical location, and therefore that is somehow superior to issuing from a vagina down the street in Pakistan or India or Ceylon or Rome. That's stupid. It's called ethnocentrism, and it means that, I'm up, and everything else comes from that. Patriotism, religion, all these things come from that. Well, I'm American, and these are our values. Dude, your mother could have been on vacation in Portugal, and you could have slipped out there. So then Portugal becomes the place. So there's a lot of stupid shit that I don't subscribe to. My favorite comedian is George Carlin. So that would tell you something about me. I've been able to somehow overcome dumb stuff and kind of hit to the heart of some kind of seminal truth, which is the same for all of us. I'll tell you when I first realized it. I was at a school dance in 7th grade at Madison Junior High School in Tampa, and it said gentlemen must wear a tie, but I wore a turtleneck sweater. So Miss Hinson, the guidance counselor, called me into her office, unlocked it, and said, Mr. Giuliano, did you not see that gentlemen are to wear a tie to the school dance? Well, I might have, but I just wanted to wear the tie. Mr. Giuliano, it's not manly to wear a turtleneck. It's manly to wear a tie. And I said, yes, ma'am, or whatever I said, but if this was a Coen Brothers movie, you'd kind of see a little bubble of me saying, lady, you're full of shit and your world is over. And what you say has no influence on anybody but yourself. You're in some kind of echo chamber of old ideas. And it doesn't make any fucking difference if I wear a tie or I wear a turtleneck. What the fuck is wrong with you? So I just knew that most of what you experience in life is phony. It's acculturated, nonsensical, imaginary, phony bullshit. And I've been able to I'm only speaking to you in this way because I already see that you're serious guys. You know, you could be the new Coen brothers right there, you know? So I'm trying to be a little bit, you know, I'm not being so glib as I would normally be in an interview and try to hit something that's a little bit important. But you see, my grasp of reality, there's many realities. There's something called consensus reality, which is a lie that we all choose to agree upon. Okay, so this is all a lie, but we're just going to pretend that it isn't and agree. That's called consensus reality. Those really don't, just like Miss Henson in the 7th grade, I don't buy that shit. I understand that there's many, many, many realities all happening at the same time. And I kind of surf through those realities, and that has given me a much wider palette as an artist to choose the colors to do my work. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I appreciate that you are kind of, you know, being very, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not being fake in, you know, in the interview, you know, you're telling it how it is, you're being yourself, and you're just expressing how you think and how you feel. And honestly,
look, please understand something. We are carbon-based life forms that have this organic computer that runs who we are. Well, who we are, we don't know who we are. We know that we're carbon-based life forms. We know there's a computer that's sort of kind of running this thing. But who we are, who's sitting in the car, who's in the driver's seat, who is that I, who is that we, that's still up for grabs. Some people think it's the material body. Some people think it's the mind. Some people think it's the intelligence. Some people think it's the soul. I've spent a lot of time in my 60 plus years trying to understand who it is we are. And not just, as Shakespeare said, in this bank and shoal of time, but what happened before? What happens after? How big are we? I think it's like some Titanic ship, where there's a little thing sticking up out of the water, our life, but there's a whole bunch of big shit, which is you can't see, which is under the surface. So I have more interest in the big thing, as the Titanic should have, of that which is not immediately perceptible, than the thing which is like obvious, like, you want to get some lunch? What are we doing? Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? Whatever it is, you know? I have more interest in those unseen things, which I believe are the larger part of who we are.
Yeah, and you know, this may sound weird, but you know, you saying, you know, there's that part inside of you that's up for grabs, like that's one of the reasons why I personally, you know, I gravitate towards movies and storytelling so much, is because a lot of movies and different types of storytelling is exploring that very thing, exploring characters who are looking at what's up for grabs within themselves, and you know, through some sort of plot and story and exploration and art.
If you watch True Romance, that scene with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, that's about as much truth as you can get out of a movie. You know, just look it up. Put True Romance, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, and watch that 10-minute scene. And that is the kind of thing that I'm always pushing for in my work. Now, you two guys strike me in a certain way. If you have any film that you would like me to contribute to, I'll be more than happy to act in your film for free. So just let me know if there's something coming up that you want me to do or collaborate with. You know, I'll be happy to do it to help you guys out for sure, as I can.
This is very much appreciated.
Yeah, well, that's extremely kind of you.
Very
Thank you for
kind.
saying that.
Yes.
Speaking of just, you know, movies and the love of movies, you know, you've thrown out some excellent names, both acting and directing. Are there any dream people that you haven't worked with yet that you are just dying and really want to work with, both directing and acting wise?
Well, I have a story about that. I made a movie with Michael Madsen from Reservoir Dogs called The Fifth Execution. I was his sidekick in the movie. I was with him for 6 weeks. And for some weird reason, and this has happened a few times, I got cut out of that movie, except for 10 seconds or something. But I was with Michael Madsen for weeks. And one of the first things I said to him, which I probably shouldn't have because he was uncomfortable, I said, I just want to tell you that of all the people that I have a desire to work with, you're really one of them, and it's a great opportunity. People don't like to hear this kind of shit, especially somebody like Michael Madsen. But that was I learned more from being on a set and watching Michael Madsen work. I've worked with William Hurt, who won an Academy Award for Kiss of the Spider Woman. Now I didn't like him personally, but he was a great actor. But I learned more, and I've worked with Patrick Stewart. I've worked with Tommy Lee Jones. I've worked with many famous actors, but I learned more from Michael than I have Michael Madsen than any actor. Just watching how he worked. There was something I did. There was some technique that I learned from him that had eluded me. He's so aware of everything because he has such experience that he would understand that a camera has to come around this way to get him in the shot. So I would notice he did an unnatural pause when we were doing some dialogue. And I thought, why is he doing that? And I thought, oh shit, he's doing that so that camera has time to track and come around and leave an edit space in there. So this guy's like completely aware of everything that's going on. I'm lucky if I can remember my fucking lines and relate to the actor in front of me. but this guy's like, he's doing his lines, he's doing his emotion, he's doing all of these internal processes going on, but he's also understanding that the camera's coming around on a crane. It's going to take a second or two to get there, and he's got to leave a little pause so that they can do an edit later on in the editing suite. I don't have that kind of consciousness. That absolutely happened.
Wow,
that's wild, just to have that sort of awareness of just all the moving
Everything.
Parts, the mechanics, and to be able to do that with the timing and everything as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Because we're doing the scene, and he just stopped. It's like, well, I was thinking about having dinner tonight. What about you? Would you like to have dinner? And I thought, why the fuck did he forget the line? And then I looked up and I saw that the guy in the little seat up there with the camera coming around, and I thought, oh shit, he stopped so that they got everything.
the editor probably loved him for that.
Well, on my first movie, Jules Verne's The Mysterious Island with Patrick Stewart, the DOP came up to me, said, oh, you're from Rochester. This is my first day in a movie set. He said, you're from Rochester. I said, yeah, I'm from. He says, I'm from Rochester too. Hey, Jeff, let me explain something to you. When you do a close-up, you're acting in a box. We're going to put a camera right up here, and it's going to be right up around. You got about 2 inches on either side. If you start doing this stuff, you're going to be out of the scene. We don't have time to fuck around. We're going to move on, and you're not going to get your close-up. So a close-up is acting in a box. Don't move your fucking head, or you're going to be out of frame, out of focus, and we're just going to have to move on. I made a movie called Hard Target 2, and I was supposed to, shoot somebody. I was supposed to shoot somebody, and I screwed it up 3 or 4 times, and it was a big scene for me, big close-up for me in Hard Target 2. And the director said, okay, let's move on, moving on. I lost my close-up. So you have to be keenly aware of everything that's going, and that only comes with experience and time. You just have to learn that stuff. So I can act, but technique comes later. For me, acting came first. Oh, I know how to act. I can do this. I can talk to you. But your mother died. Oh, I'm so upset. Whatever it is, I can do all that, but I'm not aware of the camera. I'm not aware of my surroundings. In fact, when I get into a heavy scene, sometimes I blur my eyes so I don't even see anybody, which works because they're professional and they pick it up on their end. But if you go back to the Michael Madsen story, he's aware of everything, and that's probably a superior position.
The movement definitely does play a huge role trying to figure it out, because that's just another layer on top of remembering the lines, delivering everything correctly.
It's another piece of the story.
I mean, I'm not an actor. I just, I co-host the podcast, but the Italian in both of us, I always ask him, like, where's how much? Because I get going and I'm like, you know,
Mhm.
all over that place.
I have people, I have women. It could be men, but it was women. I live in Thailand, and I'll go, well, I don't know, and they'll go, why are you yelling at me? I'm not yelling at you. I'm just Sicilian. There's a difference. But you moved your hands, you're gonna hit me. I said, no, I'm Sicilian. That's what we do.
Believe me, I already got my my earplugs packed for Thanksgiving, going back home to see.
Oh man, yeah. Talking about working with these amazing actors, working on sets, and getting into characters. Was there ever a scene that you had to film where the character or the situation or something? Because even on a professional level, there are some scenes or characters that really can just get into somebody's head and psyche, and it just really affects their ability to act in the scene, their ability to cool off afterwards. Has that ever happened to you with any particular character that you've done?
Yeah, in the movie I starred in that was never released, where I played a CIA. Well, I don't know. I played two movies. I played CIA guys, but this one was I was dying, and I was estranged from my son, and we had a bad relationship, but he was the only person that could be a donor for me to stay alive. So an organ donor. So I had to figure out, so and that's also on my YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of the film right now, which is a mark of the fact that I've made many films and I'm getting old. But in this particular film, there was a lot of dialogue, and it was very emotional. And I'm talking about my son. I know. I made up something at the end. It wasn't in the script. I said, this is the line. I ended the scene. Carolyn, the son can forget the father, but the father can never forget the son. Now, that wasn't in the script, but it's something I actually read in some Krishna conscious literature. I'm a little bit involved with the Hare Krishna movement. And they were talking about Krishna, that you, living entity, can forget God, but God can never forget you. So I just turned that around. This was something where from my life, I was able to pull out an actual line. And I didn't think about this in advance. It was like I was in a mood about losing your children and being old and dying. And I just said, Carolyn, the son can forget the father, but the father can never forget the son. It just came. Where the fuck did it come from? So I'll tell you where it came from. An actor has all these things floating up. I call it my bag of tricks. And so sometimes consciously you reach into your bag of tricks and pull something out to approximate a character. And sometimes it's just there. It just there's a little blank and it just floats up from the subconscious and fills the blank. And if you watch that scene, there's no acting there. It's real. If you watch me real as real can be without being that person in that situation with a camera in front of you, there's a few places there's been a transcendent experience, which is something other than some kind of goofy acting in a sitcom or some crappy shit that everybody thinks is wonderful. Peninsula Train to Busan, you can see me, and I defy anyone to show me where I'm acting in that film. That looks pretty much like being to me. Martin Scorsese says, we're not looking for acting. In fact, something happened to me in drama school. There was a director, and he was in the back of the theater. And he said, yeah, all right, Geoffrey, that's very impressive. Could we cut out all the acting and get on with the show, please? And I never forgot that, because I'm able to do all this acting stuff. But I had to unlearn a lot of what I learned and just throw it aside to just try and be. And that's where the meditation came in. That's where the Indian philosophy came in. That's why seeing life as a consensus reality as a tip of an iceberg, and the greater part underneath and unseen, but still influencing us at all times, Like we don't think about our heart beating or our breathing or anything, but these things are going on, obviously. We don't see electricity, but it's lighting the room. So there's most of the forces that act upon a human being are unseen. So if you have a little bit of knowledge about that, or just are open to it, you'll get a lot more things will come into your life than if you think, I know, I'm an American, I was born here and I believe in this and I know that. You work with a closed system, you're not going to be open.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to Squid Game one more time. Just
talk about anything you want, because I am. I'm gonna fuck about you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Just because the audience would be all over me if I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Technically, your character survives.
Yes.
So I don't know what you're allowed to say or anything, but
I can say anything.
Is there a potential that we're going to see you in season 2 of the show?
Yes, there's a great potential. Look, the director last week, I believe, or the week before, said it's not going to be a prequel. It's going to pick up where it left off. No, and the people that are going to be in it are the people that are still alive. I'm still alive. I'll give you a couple of things you might be interested in. Number one, when I'm knocked unconscious, the guard comes in and he says, VIP 4 is down. Is he dead? No, he's alive. He's just unconscious, or whatever the line is. Why did they say that? Why did they do that scene? That has nothing to do with any fucking thing in that movie. It's completely, it doesn't match up. It's not important to any story. It's not a part of any story or any plot. It's a separate piece that was put in there. That's clue number one. Clue number two is there is a scene when I'm sitting there, in that big room with the girl with the breasts, and I got my feet on the guy and I'm sitting back, the big idiot. And the waiter, the policeman, lets a cell phone drop down from in his sleeve and starts taking video of me. Why? Why did he do that? That is never explained. It's never referenced again. So there's I wasn't killed. He took footage of me that made no sense in the context of that show. And they made a whole scene in a movie. There was no reason to do that scene. He could have just knocked me out there when I tried to rape him or whatever. And that would have been it. And cut. But they then did another scene where this June, the actor, went back to his trailer. All right, Mr. Giuliano, lay on the floor, you're unconscious. And they made a big, that took about 2 hours to shoot that by the time they fooled around with cameras and all that. So it was, I don't know why they did that, if not to set things up for the next season.
Awesome.
It's definitely
awesome.
Interesting narrative threads that, just.
Yeah, nothing is on accident.
Yeah,
never. And
not in a movie where everything is storyboarded. People have showed me storyboards before and I go, yeah, okay, that's nice. And I didn't even look at them. They said, no, Mr. Giuliano, this is the storyboard for the first shot. Look at that picture. Okay, move your hand up a little bit more, 2 centimeters back. It's in front of your face. Lean forward about a half an inch. If somebody's going to make a movie with that kind of precision, I promise you that they're not going to shoot a scene with 300 people at X dollars a second for something that doesn't make sense and they're not going to use and isn't relevant to anything else. My supposition is I will be in season 2, but I don't know.
I think the clues are pretty
yeah I'd
pretty toward that. Yeah,
I'd say so too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to be my age, you kind of, not in a bad way, but you kind of look at younger people as not as together as you you think, well, guy like this hasn't had the experience I've had. And you kind of, I don't know if it's a superior attitude, but it's some kind of an attitude that some position you take in your mind about younger actors, But this guy, I didn't know when he took I don't even seen a lot of pictures of him now. He's people's most sexiest man in the world. Has got all these ripped and all that 8-12 pack, and I didn't see any of that. He looked like a, a fairly handsome 30-year-old something guy, and polite and kind, and didn't speak English that I saw, and was, but I thought, okay, so this is going to be, he'll be okay. I thought probably he's a model or something. No. June's a really good actor. He was present. He was there. He did virtually everything in one take. He was prepared. That was a difficult scene to shoot. Let's talk about that for a minute. I had to take all my clothes off. Now, I had a little cup over my genitalia. They had taken a cup and they taped it in the costume room with cloth. It was a cloth, like plastic egg, and then had this flesh-colored tape. So my genitals were all covered up, but that was it. Now, this is kind of funny, but it's also embarrassing. I knew I was going to do a nude scene. I knew there was some kind of pretend oral sex involved there. So they picked me up at 11, but it was a 2-hour drive to the studio. So at 9 o'clock, I got in the shower and I stayed there for an hour and a half. And I put the soap on and I let it sit and I rinsed it and I put it on again. I put on super clean clothes and underwear and stuff and perspirant. And, because I knew that it was a 2-hour thing and you have to wait around a couple hours before you get on the set. So it was like 5 hours later, I was in front of this guy naked with hot lights. And I thought, I'm going to smell. Any human being is going to have an odor. Just impossible not to have some odor coming from your genitalia under hot lights. And I thought, fuck this poor guy, because this was not done with camera angles. He was about 2 inches from my penis. He was right there. I mean, they could have done it another way. They could have had him sitting back a couple of feet. He was sitting on a stool. He wasn't on his knees. He was sitting on the stool. And they could have had him 2 feet back and just put that camera at an angle so it looked like he was there, but they didn't do that. He was right next to my penis as if there was going to be some kind of oral sex. And I thought, fuck, Jesus Christ himself would emit some kind of an odor under these circumstances. That was really embarrassing. And I'll tell you something, the look on his face where he's like looking at me all up, I'm convinced there was no acting required there. That must have smelled something, but as an actor, that's another thing too. If you're going to do a love scene, you brush your teeth and brush your teeth and brush your teeth, and then you dental floss and water pick, and you carry a toothbrush with you. And just before the scene, I have to go to the bathroom, and you brush your teeth again, and you have mouthwash and spray. But you can't really do that if you're naked under a bunch of hot lights. What are you going to do? Take a shower, 2 seconds, you got to just. So that was tough, and it fucked up my concentration, because I had no business thinking about, is there a bad smell and this guy has to endure and I'm so embarrassed. I should have been thinking about my character. Fortunately, it was an easy scene to do, where he just grabs me. He didn't grab anything. He just went like that. It was fake. So yeah, that was weird. And the thing that I thought was going to happen with this movie didn't happen, which is that everybody's, oh, he's fat, he's old, he's ugly, he's gross. Here's his ass. Here's screenshots of his ass. Here's his fat stomach. Nobody said any of that, because I almost didn't take the movie because I thought that's what's going to happen. But none of that happened. I don't know why it didn't happen, because that's because when you're a successful actor, you have more haters than fans. Because there's little, people are jealous. People don't want other people to succeed. They just don't, it's human nature. So if you kind of step out in front of everybody, but in this case, by accident, I just thought it was another acting job. I didn't know. People don't like it, man. people don't want you to be successful. There's, I mean, really, other than your mother, probably, and maybe your wife and girlfriend, whatever it is, your relationship, your partner, nobody else wants you to be fucking successful. Nobody wants you two idiots to be the Coen brothers. They just don't want that, and they won't accept it. And if there's anything they can do to stop that, they will, because they want to be the Coen brothers. So I've had one time I came out of a successful audition, and there was another actor. No, this was before you did them on a cell phone. You had to go and wait and fill out an application. There was 10 actors in the room. Well, the other actor came out and he took a swing at me, and he was a really big guy. And for some reason I ducked. He tried to beat me up, big swing at me. And I went down and I went up and I said, "What is wrong with you?" He said, "Man, you are taking the food out of my daughter's mouth." I said, "Dude, you're supremely fucked up. I'm not taking the food out. The director gave me the part. You got a problem with this casting? You go talk to the director. It's fuck all to do with me. You went in there to get the part. I went in there to get the part. I got the part, okay? And I'm sorry about your daughter. I'm sorry you're having financial..." So listen, man, people shoot people. People cut their wrists. People jump out of buildings. People take fentanyl. There's all kinds of crazy shit that happens in this acting world. And I just try to stay clear of it. I'll tell you a real quick story about Patrick Stewart. I was making a movie called Jules Verne's The Mysterious Island in Krabi, in the islands in the south. And we were at this, it was a 6-week shoot, and Patrick Stewart was there. It was a pirate movie. You can see it online. And I was invited to dinner by his personal assistant with Patrick Stewart and other stars of the show. And the guy from Twin Peaks was in that, Laughlin or something like this. Anyway, so there was some drink. I don't drink, part of my religious thing. And everybody was drinking wine. And he looked at me and he said, "Mr. Giuliano, I've heard that you're a vegetarian. Is that true?" "Yes, Mr. Stewart, I am." He said, "Do you feel morally superior to me as a vegetarian? I'm here eating meat. You probably think you're a little bit better than me, don't you, Mr. Giuliano?" "Oh, no, Mr. Stewart, of course." From that moment on, Patrick Stewart never spoke to me. No one in the fucking crew ever spoke to me. None of the cast, only as much as they had to, spoke to me. I was a fucking pariah. What did I do? Nothing. As I tell my children, truth is not important in this world. The perception of truth is important. Somehow, in somebody's mind, I fucking did something by the fact that I was a vegetarian. I didn't say, "Hey, Stewart, I am morally superior to you. Why are you eating that dead animal?" No, I didn't say anything. I was just sitting there eating my whatever I was eating, macaroni and cheese. So I learned something from that. Don't socialize on a movie set. You're not there to fucking socialize. You're not there to meet people in the Vinnie Jones was in the movie too. You're not there to meet Vinnie Jones in the bar for drinks after the shoot. That was my first movie. So I said, wow, I'm hanging around with Patrick Stewart and Vinnie Jones and all these guys. Kyle Laughlin or something his name was from Twin Peaks. So wow, I'm a movie star. No, you're not a movie star. You're an actor. So I would recommend that you never go to a cast party. Not never, but pretty much never. Don't go to a cast party. Don't socialize. Understand what you're there for. You're there to act. So now, inevitably, when people say, "Hey, Jeff, we're having a party," oh man, really? Man, I would love to go to that party. Unfortunately, I've got to do this, that, or the other thing, and I just don't do it. So you got to understand what you're there for and what's expected of you and how important it is to the production, because a movie set is like a Swiss watch. There's all these parts that are moving independent. If this clicks in here and moves this, and this drops down, if any one of those gets out of sync, I got fired from a movie. Last story. I got fired from a movie with William Hurt, the big actor. Why did I get fired? because when I was outside before we started shooting and he was walking into the makeup truck. And I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone. And he walked by, I nodded, he nodded. He walked into his trailer and then he came out and he leaned around the corner and said, "You're commandeering the entire area." "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll call you back. I'm so sorry, Miss." I was fired. Apparently, Mr. Hurt thought I was speaking too loud on my cell phone. Outside in the middle of a field before any work was happening. Was I? Probably. Was it worthy of getting fired? No. But I was fired. But I learned so much. Listen, when you're in a movie set, you go there, you're quiet. Doesn't matter how you feel. Just go there. What's going on at home, all that stuff is out the window. Your finances, nothing. You go there, you're quiet, you show up. Hi. And it's fake. I put on a fake personality. "Hi, good morning." Because there's always somebody there to meet you with a clipboard and something in their ear. So, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?" "Oh, hi, it's really nice to meet you." All fake. So what would you like me to do? "Well, Mr. Giuliano, would you go over here to the dressing room or to the makeup room?" And then they'll walk you over and sit you down and say, "So if you could just hang," "Yeah, sure, no problem, thank you." And then fake. And then, "Okay, Mr. Giuliano, time to come to wardrobe." "Oh, cool, great, thank you so much." I don't engage them in conversation. I don't ask them about their boyfriend or she's kind of cute or try to pick up, whatever it is. That's what I do. And then it's like, "All right, Mr. Giuliano, we're going to go to the set now." "Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And here's the director." "Good morning, sir. How are you?" "Good morning, Geoffrey. What would you like me to do?" "What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go?" "Well, would you go and stand over there and we're going to do a run through?" "Yes, sir, I will. Thank you so much." And you do that. And that's how you behave on a film set. And when it's over, they'll go, "That's a wrap for Geoffrey Giuliano." Hey, like that. And then you go, "Hey, thank you. It was really great to work with you all. Thank you so much. Bye." And you go into the thing, you take off, you wash your face, you get in the car and you go home. That's it. Nothing else. And if you do that, people will say, "How was it working with Geoffrey?" "Oh, he was fine." As opposed to, "He's difficult." Because if there's one kiss of death in Hollywood, it's those two words. He's difficult. Whether you're difficult or not, doesn't matter. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But if somebody gets it in their head to say that you're difficult, you're pretty much fucked. Because when that comes around again to the next movie, "How was it working with Geoffrey?" "Well, I don't know personally. I didn't work with him, but I hear he's difficult." I now overcompensate for that and I'm super, "Hi, how are you?" And it's not the way I am, but I don't want to take any chance that I'm going to in any way. I had that situation in a movie I made for the BBC recently, 2 years ago in Kuala Lumpur, called The Singapore Grip, where the woman said to me, "Hello, Geoffrey." It's all phony. "Hello, Geoffrey. Thank you for coming to all this way to Kuala Lumpur to make the movie. We're very excited to have you in the cast." "Well, thank you. I'm the producer." And I said, I had no idea. And something in the way I said it was a little bit rude or denigrating. And as soon as it came out, I thought, fuck, that's not what I meant, but I know that sounded weird. And she went like that. And I was cut out of that movie. I was cut out. I was paid a lot of money to come there and have a big part in that movie. And that fucking woman cut me the fuck out. Because I immediately jumped on it and said, "Oh, well, it is a real play," but it was too late. It was too late. It was too late. I said something which sounded rude. If you had a tape recording of it or a film of it, it would definitely look like I was being an arrogant idiot, but I didn't mean it. It was just the way it slipped out. But I was cut out of that movie as a direct result of me saying whatever I said. Like, I think I said, she said, maybe I made X movies. I said, well, I had no idea. As if like, oh, you did? Oh, really? But it wasn't that. It sounded like that. So you got to be, it's a minefield. A movie set is a benevolent dictatorship if you're lucky. It's not a democracy. You don't have a fucking vote. You don't have any rights. It's a minefield, and you got to be very careful. I thought that would be instructive to anyone out there who's interested in making movies. You know, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's appreciated. You know, that's a lot of what we like to talk about and do. And, you know, having someone like you give those on-set experiences and give that piece of advice that people wouldn't think to give, it's really beneficial and helpful. So thank you for
it's easy as fuck to get into trouble on a movie set. That's without even trying. I'll give you another example. I was supposed to be in the van at 7 in that Michael Madsen movie. I was supposed to be in the van at 7 o'clock. I got there. This happened twice to me, but I'll tell you about this one. I got there and the guy said, "It's 7:01. You got 10 people in this van, 300 people waiting on the set for you. Who do you think you are, Mr. Hollywood? It's 7:01. You're supposed to be here at fucking 7 o'clock. There's mechanisms in a movie, and you're disturbing the balance of the movie. I'm really sorry. Get in a car." I mean, that happened to me, and I deserved it. I once interviewed Katharine Hepburn when I was a writer, and I was to be at her house at 10 o'clock. So I thought, well, you know, she's a big movie star. Wow, Katharine Hepburn. I should get there a little early, you know, so don't risk being late. So I rung the doorbell, and there was a window, and Katharine Hepburn, she said, "Do you know what time it is, young man?" I said, "Oh, Miss Hepburn, it's 4 minutes to 10. And what time is our appointment?" "Well, it's at 10. So you're 4 minutes early?" "Yeah." Slam! She slammed the window down. You can't be early. You can't be late, you know? And it's easy to get into trouble on a movie set. Okay, there you go. There's a master class. What not to do on a fucking movie set.
That just sounds overly stressful on top of all the other stressors that are just happening on it. And the fact that, as you're saying, like, it seems like you have to start acting before the cameras are even rolling on it.
You know, I keep my script in my, every other people don't do this. And I don't know where they get that confidence. People go in and they don't have it. There's no script. The only script you find on a set is mine. I keep it in my, if I'm sitting down, I put it under my ass, and just while they're fucking around, just before they, okay, I got it. And then, okay, I got it. Or I'll have it under here. I put it sometimes under my arm if I've got a jacket on. That script is right next to me so that I can refer to that thing just before they say action. I'll look at that script. Okay, I got it. You know, but I mean, other people, I'm the only one who does that. Everybody else just like knows there's, I mean, I know the lines, but I just don't. I remember there was I know what it was. I was in this movie where somebody shot me, and I had those squibs on that explode with the blood. And it took like 45 minutes to put them on, and they put the shirt on, and they fucked around, and they said, action. And I went, oh, and I fell down. And they said, what are you doing? You're supposed to like, grab your chest, look down, look up, and slowly fall down. All right, get him a new shirt, get the guys in here with another hour. You know, all these people are waiting now. It was one of the most horrific experiences of my life. I got it on the second take. But you just really have to know what you are doing when you're on a movie set, or you can cause a great distress, and people won't, and then they won't hire you again. They just won't hire you. I'm lucky because my performances are good, and the finished product. I'll tell you, that's another thing. Pretty much all is forgotten if you put in a good performance, but you can't rely on that. That's just like, shit, that didn't go very well. But 2 years later, oh shit, the performance was great. People will kind of remember that, but it's harder to stay out of trouble than it is to get into trouble on a movie set. It's difficult.
Yeah, and with all that being said, and with your story about Katharine Hepburn, I really appreciate the fact that you let us start a little early. So Because we were also a few minutes early.
I was meaning to talk to you about that.
Well, honestly, we got in 10 minutes early. We're surprised you still wanted to do it that way. But no, that's interesting about the script, because I mean, like, the way I see it, you know, I graduated college 2 years ago. I see no harm looking at the Notebook walking into the test. You know, what's the harm in that? You know,
I understand what happens if you fuck up a line.
Yeah,
it's not just embarrassing. It just stops a machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like going down 70 miles an hour in a car and slamming on the brakes. Everything has to stop. Everything pushes forward, and everybody. And I know that those people that aren't involved with the acting, the grips, the best boys, the runners, the lighting guys are going, oh, Jesus Christ. Can we get this thing over with? I want to get out of here. I got to, whatever it is, you know. And how much does it cost per minute to shoot a Netflix movie? How much would that be with 300 people standing around and equipment rental and all that?
quite a lot. Very.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Giuliano, we could speak with you for 4 hours about this shit. This has been one of the most fun, exciting interviews we've ever done. But, you know, I got to go to my day job in the morning, and so does this guy. And, you know, just the fact that you took the time to do this and talk with us, it means the world. We just wanted to say thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything that you want to promote or say anything before you go, you know, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, I would invite people to go to my YouTube channel, the Geoffrey Giuliano channel. I would invite people to go to geoffreygiuliano.com. That's Geoffrey Giuliano. I would invite people to join me on Instagram at Geoffrey Actor, Geoffrey Actor, or indeed my TikTok, which is not for old people, but anyway, it's for Squid Game Confidential. You know, all this dancing around in the bedroom. What the fuck is this? You know, this is a poor substitute for any kind of perceptible talent that I've ever seen. Woo, dancing around. Okay, wow, you're an influencer. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. But okay, that's Squid Game Confidential. But most importantly, I have a Facebook page called, or there is a Facebook page of my fans or people that like the work I'm doing. Maybe a little bit is called VIP4's Squid Game Universe on Facebook. That's a private thing. I'm one of the admins. I'll let you in. This guy I don't know, but you is okay. So so that's it. Yeah. Thank you very much for an opportunity to speak intelligently about this business that we're in. Obviously, most of the interviews aren't like this. I thought, by contrast, since you're filmmakers, we'd take a deeper dive than normal.
Yes, thank you so
Absolutely.
much,
Yeah.
and have a good night, sir. Again,
Thank you.
I think it's
Thank
good
you.
morning for him.
Oh,
right
it
now.
is. It is good morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I got work to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Take
Thank
care.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You have a good one.
As you can see, that was a lot of fun. I think that's it for the show.
Yeah, no, I think we need to get more of those.
Yeah, we do. I'll try to get some more of those, you guys. It's tough. It's tough, you see.
It is.
But yes, thank you, Mr. Giuliano, for doing that interview. And I also want to give a thank you to Everett Lee and the guys over at the Podcast City Network, who we are a part of, and you should check out their website for helping hook up that interview. I really appreciate it. And yeah, without further ado, you got anything else you want to add, sir?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. You dumb bitch.